Hey, what's up, family? This is Marseille, aka the Property Pastor, here with Kingdom Legacy Builders, where our mission, our purpose is to help everyday people to build a lasting legacy for their children, for their children's children, using real estate principles and wealth creation principles. You know, Proverbs 13:22, it says that a good man leaves an inheritance for their children's children, right? And if you're looking at your life and you're looking at your family, maybe your history, your family tree, right? And you look and you want better, right? You want to leave something for your children. You want them to be able to start at a better station in life than you did. This video is all for you. This series, this channel, you come to the right place, right? So we're talking all about how to build generational wealth, how to leave a legacy for your children, for your children's children, using real estate, right? Using wealth creation principles. And today we're talking all about how do you buy your first investment property in the next 12 months? You know, and in this series, we're going to be digging deep. I'm going to be your virtual mentor. I'm going to be walking you through the steps you need to take. In today's video, we're focused all about the very first month. And I want to give you 3 key steps that you need to take this month to kickstart your real estate journey, to set yourselves up for success. But again, before we get started, before we get rolling, I want to ask you guys to make sure that you like and subscribe. Make sure that you follow this page. We're dropping brand new content every single week to help you in your journey. So I'm excited, y'all, and I want to make sure that you drop your questions, drop your comments. Right, we're going to answer them. We're going to get back to you. I am serving as your virtual mentor. Right, you don't have to go to a guru. You don't have to go, and spend $30,000, right? This is free information. We're in an information age, and this is free info. So let me go ahead and give you these 3 tips, right? Let's go ahead and jump into this thing, right? So very first thing, if you are ready to get started, to kickstart your real estate journey this month, the very first thing you need to do is start getting your financial house in order, right? And one of the things, we talk about real estate investing is that it does take money. It takes some level of capital to get started. And many folks, if they go to a bank, one of the barriers they run into is in credit, right? So the very first thing you want to do is start getting your financial house in order. You want to pull your credit report. There are folks that can help you with cleaning up credit, right? You can dispute credit very easily, just by writing letters to the credit bureaus, writing letters to the folks who have reported things on your credit report. My guy Flame Newton is a credit repair specialist, man. This guy knows his stuff inside and out, and I'll drop a link to his book to help you along that journey as well. We've had him on the show before, but there are so many things that we can do, that we should do, to clean up discrepancies on our credit report, because they are holding us back, right? They're slowing us down. So begin to dispute those charges and start paying down debt, right? Things that are actually valid, start paying down debt. And you will be surprised how fast you can get out of debt if you apply discipline, right? Instead of going out to eat, instead of turning up for the weekend, instead of buying new rims for your car, put that money on the credit card, put that money, to pay off that sofa and that couch and that TV and all that kind of stuff, and start cleaning up your credit. But then on top of that, once you clean up your credit, right, start saving money. And we got to start stacking money, saving it up so that we can put it to work for us. In the African American community, we have such buying power, but very little investing power. We have very little net worth, right? But we must commit to saving. So start saving money. Pick up that side hustle, man. Stack that money, like your life depended on it, because your kids' life depends on it. Their future depends on it. Then on top of it, right, when you start to get ready, your credit starts to clean up, you start saving up a little bit of money, go to your lender and get pre-approved. Now, if you've never purchased a house before, if you're still renting, right, there's a program called the FHA loan, right? It's a first-time home buyer loan where you can, as a first-time home buyer, the government will actually assist you in that process, right? And for only 3% down, you can buy your very first investment property. So let's say, for example, right, you're looking at a house that's $100,000, right? 3% is literally, what is that, $3,000, right? So for $3,000, you can go and buy your first home. Now you got to be an owner occupant in that home for at least a year, but you can buy that home if you're single, right? You can rent out rooms from it and basically live for free. Now, another thing you can do if you're considering getting married in the next 12 months, here's the free game for you, right? You and your spouse should both, before you get married, use the FHA homebuyer program, buy 2 different houses, one in his name, one in her name, right? We getting his and her towels, man. What would it look like if we got his and her houses, right? So you get his and her houses. When you get married, y'all move into one, and then the other house, that's now your investment property, right? So that's key, right? So take advantage of the first time home buyer loans. If you're a vet, right, take advantage of VA loans. All these kind of things can really set you up for success. So the first thing you want to do is get your financial house in order, get set up with the lender, right? Get that relationship started. At least have the conversation. The next thing, right? So once you got the financial piece started, right? You may not have it all together, but you got it started. You're on a path, right? The next thing you want to do is start learning your market, right? So wherever you live, you want to start learning your market. First of all, you want to understand what is the average sale price of a house, right? I use the example of $100,000, but if you live, down south, you're in Texas or whatever, you might be able to get a house for 50, right? But if you live upstate in New York or you live out on the West Coast, that same $50,000 house could cost you $400,000, even up to $1 million, right? Recognize what is the sale price for a house where you live. Then on top of that, you also want to understand what is the average rental price of a house. And as you look, right, and these are things you can do on Zillow, right? You can pull that information up online without even leaving home, right? Just start to get a feeling for the numbers in your specific market. And there's some key metrics I'm going to give you. We're gonna dig into this thing about how do you analyze deals, but a real quick number that you want to know is the 1% rule and the 2% rule. And what those are, they're just a ratio of the rental amount as compared to the purchase price of a home. So for example, right, if you have a house that you spent $100,000 for, the purchase price is $100,000, but then the rental income is $1,000, that house would meet the 1% rule, right? But if the rental amount is only like $700 and you paid $100,000 for it, right, you're not going to meet the 1% rule. And it's the same scenario with the 2% rule. These are really quick analysis tools that you can use to tell yourself whether or not that property is going to cash flow effectively. And we're going to dig into that stuff a whole lot more in future videos. So don't get nervous like, man, Pastor Mark, Marseille, I don't get it, right? But recognize there's just some quick things you can do to start getting used to what numbers work in your particular market. So you want to kind of understand that. You want to understand about the neighborhoods, right? Some neighborhoods have better schools. Some neighborhoods are up and coming. Some neighborhoods appreciate better than others. And you can find a lot of the stuff online. You can find it just by talking to a realtor, right? But you want to get a good feel for what numbers work in your specific market. And you want to start analyzing deals, right? You're going to have to look at a lot of deals, right, before you buy your first property. I took 6 months before I ever bought my first house. Right before I bought my first house, I studied, I read, right? I learned as much as I possibly could. And then the next thing what you want to do is you want to start building your network. So the third thing I want you to do is to start building your network, right? Start building your network, and in that network, you got to focus on your education as well. So I'm going to talk about both of those areas, right? So in your network, right, you need a mentor, right? So that mentor, I'm your virtual mentor, first of all, but you also want to find other people, right? Folks who are doing it in your market that you can ask questions of, what works here? What about this neighborhood over there, right? So you want to start building that network. That network, you want to have a real estate agent. And you also want to start taking advantage of investor groups, right? And on Facebook, there are so many different real estate investor groups. Some of them are like masterminds you may have to pay into, but most of them are free. And on those, right, you'll have people that are sharing their experiences. They're posting questions. They're saying, hey, I was thinking about doing this thing. And what do y'all think? And folks will kind of comment back and say, well, yeah, I used that material before, that type of flooring. Don't stay away from it. Or I used this contractor before. Stay away from them. Or I got a really good painter, or whatever that looks like, right? You want to start connecting with people and networking because you can force multiply your efforts and learn through the experience of other people. So with it, right, you want to connect to those Facebook groups, also connect to your local real estate investors association group, and they may be meeting in person, they may be meeting virtually, right? But these are places you can get all your questions answered. And then, like I mentioned, by subscribing to this channel. So if you haven't subbed yet, make sure you subscribe to the channel and start asking me those questions, because I'm here to answer your questions. I'm here to help you build a legacy for your children and your children's children. And then last but not least, this is bonus, right? I told you 3 main things, but bonus, and we'll just group that under your network, right? But bonus is start to invest 1 hour a day into your education, right? And I'm not talking about going back to college, I'm not talking about those kind of things, but recognize that by spending an hour a day, and maybe it's only 30 minutes, but consistently doing that every single day by reading, by listening to podcasts, by watching videos like this one, by doing all of these kind of things, listening to reading articles and just investing in your education, you're going to grow, right? You are naturally going to grow every single month, right? Every day. That's one of my goals, is to read an hour a day, right? To listen to audiobooks and all these kind of things, and I grow, right? Most people overestimate what they can do in 1 year, but underestimate what they can do in 10, right? But if you do the small things consistently, the big things will happen. And I know right now it might feel like a whole lot. You're like Marcel, you talked about the 1% rule, the 2% rule. Guess what? By constantly immersing yourself, it will become more clear, right? But you gotta do the work. So that's my 3 tips for you guys. My three main areas plus a bonus, right? Get your financial house in order. Start learning your market, and then start building your network, right? And then on top of it, invest in your learning, your education. If you do those things, a year from now, you're gonna be sitting back with your first investment property, and you're gonna be helping somebody else, right? So that's what we got for you today. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure you like and subscribe. Drop your questions in the comment section. I'm here to be a blessing to you. I'm here to answer your questions, and I can't wait to see you guys again. Be safe out there. God bless. Love you guys, and talk to you again soon.